clash between Umibozu and Kamui seems to be drawing closer to a near, but then again we have Gintoki and gang going against the three Mad Stars. Definitely the battle on Rakyo is now about to heat up. God damn, did this fucking episode of Gintama have a lot of stuff that I loved a lot, and definitely is where one of the personal that I have to say about the Rakyo arc as well, and especially sometimes that's like a little bit of like a flaw with Gintama, is actually sometimes marathoning it, or even like the pacing of the anime has sometimes a lot more advantage going into it. If people know and all that, like as most people do and all that, I've actually caught up to the manga and read up to it and all that, and god damn it, I love it, but sometimes like the manga can be a little bit slow with how it is, and especially people have been saying, even myself as well, have been notifying saying like, okay, they have going at like quite a blistering pace with the manga chapters, especially in these episodes. And I remember like when I was reviewing some of these like when they were fighting against the Mad Stars, like especially all of them, like I like with like Pluto, Neptune, and all those guys, like I definitely did say a lot of the guys, it feels a little bit slow paced here and there and all that, like especially during like the Katsura scenes, or like when they were fighting off just a bunch of random other, you know, like groups and all that. Like I really did feel like, especially with this episode, it felt a lot more better because of that case. Like especially when we got to see like Gintoki and gang like go through the entire Rakyo, seeing like this is where like Kagura grew up with her entire family, and like there was this really warm like scene like where like Kagura is there like paying like respects to like her mother's grave, and it's just like, oh, did you just want to confirm something? It's like, oh yeah, I know, definitely something now that they're going to be here. And she sees like a bunch of flowers already on her mother's grave, and there's only one person that would straight up do that, and that's exactly her husband herself. As you see Umibozu kind of teaming up with like alongside with Abazo's group, and it's like, they're gonna wipe us Yato out, let's just kind of work together. Like Abazo, I absolutely love that about him, and just like when his men approached Umibozu and like pointing their weapons ready at him, he's like, look, don't even bother going against this man. Like he's already, his like daughter took my ear, his son took away my arm. I am terrified to know what the hell this man is gonna do, the actual like the demon himself. And even the fact that like they're really building up to like how strong Umibozu is alongside for the show, you know, when you got someone like Utsuro who's saying this might be the man who might be able to finally kill me after everything, like he's there going like, this might be the guy that can finally do it, like after all this time. And I'm like, holy shit, you know when Umibozu is a goddamn threat, and that you want to see Kamui fighting this monster like that, you know they're going to be up for quite a fight and all that, and definitely setting like a big thing for this arc is going to be concluding like the whole family rivalry that there's been between like Kagura's family for all this time. Plus it was a great time and all that. Like I did like that they'll bring back some of the jokes and all that. A lot of people saying like, oh, it's a little bit too serious for a while. No, Gintoki, Katsura, and the gang just like shooting this shit when they're going into this area, like, even making fun of like the manga characters, like, oh, look at this stupid fucking gorilla over here and all that. Kind of reminds me of the manga arts. It's like Jinpachi is always as a straight man, like, are you fucking serious right now? Like, you're doing this right now? And like fucking Katsura is like there, like, oh, I'm gonna like hit her up with like your sister attack. She's not a gorilla, dude. Like just some really silly shit over and out like from there. So definitely I will say this episode of Gintama was a lot more, I feel like this one especially felt a little bit more improved of the manga. I will say there were still some issues with it last time, and definitely it seems like this is going to be a problem throughout the entirety of this season, and it seems like, which is kind of a sad thing to say, it clearly looks like in all that there are some animation issues throughout like the entire episode as well, and even as well with the last week. I think that's something we're going to have to kind of deal with at this point, and I hate the fact like to accept that. It's just like, oh no, we have to do this, but it's like, no, if they haven't got the time, honestly, like sometimes, like I kind of wish, like instead of maybe being on a weekly rotor or something like that, sometimes with these anime episodes, I sometimes wish they would do like what other shows would do, like bi-weekly, but unfortunately that isn't what people are really wanting, like interested in, and I can hopefully say, like, if anything, I really do hope, if anything, like these first couple episodes, although some of them do look good and all that, I do hope for the fact and all that, that some of the bigger parts to come throughout this entire arc, and for the rest of the show, I really do hope they pick up the animation for those special scenes especially. I can think of a couple of fights and some moments where I just want it to be completely stellar, but that's honestly the biggest complaint that I've had so far of this newest season. Is like, yeah, maybe sometimes the pacing goes a little bit fast, but if anything, I was like, just what I noticed, like where there's kind of like shoddy animation and just like characters look off model, and it's like, I kind of hate the fact that it's just like, I noticed that. I know that isn't going to bother a lot of you guys on that out there at home. It's like, at the end of the day, you just happy to have Gintama back on the anime format. Same thing with me. It just sometimes it kind of takes you a little bit out of the experience when you see like Gintoki looking a little bit derpy at some points and all that, or like, well, normally non-derpy when he's trying to have the serious scene, and the same thing can be said as well for the other way around and all that. Overall, it was a pretty goddamn episode, like, and all that. Honestly, not too much, honestly, to say from the most part. I just generally had a lot of fun with this one, because it was just, like, setting up all the fights and all that, like, Katsura, Gintoki, everyone splitting off into their own groups and all that, dealing with each of the 3 mad stars, and also as well, the whole fact as well, that, you know, Takasugi, he's still alright, he's unconscious, and the setup as well, cover. Multiple battles are going to be happening, and I'm looking forward to how they're going to be dealing with this, and the fact as well, who Gintoki's going to be going up against. There's, like, definitely some setup with some history as well, so that's going to be interesting as well, dealing a little bit more with Gintoki's past, so I hope you guys look forward to that. But that is all from me though, so thank you much, which is always I'm going to do, guys, in the Gintama episode down below. Really enjoyed this episode, apart from a couple like just the issues in animation, but apart from that, I really had fun with this episode. Really glad that they brought back some of the comedy as well. It was really needed after some points. It was just so much seriousness here and there, but overall really enjoyed it. That's all from me. I'll see you guys though next time.